Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday.
I can't believe you never heard of it. I'm a very popular entertainer.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing today? Just want to say happy Monday to you. How y'all feeling on this fallback Monday? Got that extra hour of sleep? I see that chick, yo, Cuzzo's in the building first this morning. Toronto Riggins right behind her. I appreciate you ladies being here, supporting. My boy Health Talk, I appreciate you, big dog. D-Rob Training, what's good? What is good, young gun? Happy Making Moves Monday. I like that, Toronto Riggins. I like that. Yes. Appreciate that like button being smashed. Thank you so much. Monique, yeah, it's a little chilly. It's that time of the year. It's definitely that time of the year. Woo! Just got in at 1:30 this morning. And you here, girl? Girl, I know you got love for the cause. I appreciate you. I thought only I did stuff like that. You know, most people try to take advantage of this fallback weekend and try to get ahead. But of course, in this household, we didn't do that. We stayed up last night. We tested the limits. And we were up to roughly about 12:30, 1:30-ish time frame. Don't know the exact time when we actually shut it down. But that tends to happen when we have those home alone weekends. We tend to stay up late, push the envelope, and then pay for it on Monday, Tuesday, whenever we do. Oh, K is in the building. Let me just drop a bomb for K real quick. Appreciate you. Man, if you had a good weekend, put those ones in the chat. Let me know you had a good weekend. And if you didn't have a good weekend, we're gonna send a little prayer for you this morning. Put a 2 in there if you need some prayer. You need some gratitude, some affirmations. Put a 2 in the chat. But if you had a great weekend, put a 1 in the chat. Be loud, be proud with that 1. Sometimes we have to call those things that be not as though they were. Sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes we have to find the silver lining in everything that happens, because life does its thing. Life's gonna life, regardless of how we move, how we be. Life is gonna do its thing. So y'all starting early this morning. I like all the ones. Thank you. Toronto starting some mess this morning. I have a natural glow, a natural essence, a presence. Appreciate you for noticing. Thank you. But yeah, man, the last couple weeks been really good. We 2 weeks ago we talked about confidence. We had a whole week dealing with just confidence and the importance of it. But last week we dived into purpose. And we had some very interesting conversations. Some great points and topics were raised. Some great questions were asked. I can't get that word out right. That's why I say it fast, try to get past it real quick. But y'all had some great responses, some great comments, some great thoughts. And so it was really made the conversation very rich, which you didn't know this, but we're kind of going to continue with that same vibe. And this week we're going to deal not so much the purpose itself, but we're going to really dive into passions and vision, missions and things of that nature. So just for me to have a clarifying question, just for me to have a basis of where, in my mind, where I see us going. And you don't have to answer this question in the chat. I would like to, if you agree with what I'm saying, you can definitely put a one. If you don't know yet, you don't have to put anything, or you can just say I don't know. It's really up to you. But the reason that I started this morning channel, this morning group, was because I wanted to, one, find find my space, my release. This was pressing on me for a while, for some time, and I kind of have been dragging my feet on it. So it was something that I needed to get out and to make happen. But two, I was curious if personal development was a topic that resonated with people. Now I know all of us we're very similar. We want very similar things. But there is a fine line between people who actually want to improve, want to see a change, want to see growth in their life, and don't really mind doing the work, going through the process because they know life's gonna happen regardless. And then there are some other people who they're a little gun shy about change. Change is a hard concept for some people. It's it's not common that everybody just wants to just change and be better and is willing to do the work. It's not a common thing. So if that's why you're here and that's what you're into, shout out to you because you are a rare breed. That's not a common thing. It is not a common thing. I used to think it was. I used to think common sense was common, but as we all get older, we realize common sense really ain't that common. Why am I saying that? If you could put five people in a room and you'll have four different opinions about the same thing that they saw. That's just the way it is. We're not all wired the same. We don't process things at the same level and at the same space. So what I'm curious about, I know I'm kind of belaboring this point a little bit, but the point that I want to know is how far to go down this rabbit trail, or for my boo, this rabbit hole of personal development. Because I'm thinking we'll do another couple of weeks, and then we'll shift gears, and then we'll go into more family stuff. December, I'm thinking maybe we'll get into the family. It's the holidays. It's family time. A lot of people get depressed during that time because of lost loved ones or bad memories or what have you. And so that's my goal, to continue with the personal development track for a couple of more weeks, and then in December we shift into the family space. Put a one in the chat if you cool with that, or put a two if you don't really have a dog in the fight at this moment. You just kind of here for the ride. So I'm just trying to work out how we structure this thing going forward, and I also want to give you a point of reference because I don't want this to be a never ending thing. Because at some point we got to start seeing some results. We got to start putting in some work. We got to start changing, getting some great outcomes. So one, I got a couple of ones. Okay, all right, okay, all right. So we good with the we're gonna wrap up November with the personal development space. Then we're gonna move on to the other areas. All right. Great morning to you, Gary. Great morning, my brother. Good to see you. Craig G, I know you out there, bro. Appreciate you. Craig gives me the recap most mornings. He'll tell me where I sucked at. He'll tell me where I can improve at. Like only a brother can. Like only a brother can, I promise you. But I appreciate it. I really do. I think feedback, personally, I think feedback is a gift. I think feedback is a gift. So anybody who, and a lot of you have already reached out to me and kind of told me what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see more of. So I'm really grateful and I'm appreciative because we're building this thing together. And yeah, we're building it together. So let's recap just a little bit. Last week we talked about what purpose was. What is your purpose? And our primary purpose, of course, is self-discovery. Discovering who we are, discovering our likes, our passions, the things that drive us, move us, and becoming the best version of ourselves. That is primarily what our purpose is. We think that then someone asked a question: can we have multiple purposes? excuse me, can we have multiple purposes? And the answer is an astounding yes. There are sub purposes. There are sub things. See, life is full of seasons. You know, I think most of us are familiar with the scripture that says all everything has a season. Everything has a season. I forget it's a couple different ones. I'm not. I think I'm mixing the two up a little bit, but that's why I'm only saying one. Everything has a season. Everything has a season, and sometimes you can miss a season. You can miss a season if you're not careful. And then that when you miss a season, it leaves a gap in your life. It leaves a hole in your life, and it throws everything off when you miss a season. And so we're going to talk about missing a season later on, but today we're going to just talk about for a few minutes, purposes and seasons. You guys know most of my story. When I was growing up, I I didn't have the ideal upbringing that I thought I would have liked, and my purpose was independence, self sufficiency, not needing anyone, to find my own space, my own tribe, my own success. That was my purpose in life. To get out of my parents' house, to become a man, to 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 be somebody that was worth respecting. That was my purpose. Then as time went on, I started accomplishing those things. I barely made it out of high school. I got some chronicles for you from middle school, high school. My mom had to come basically beg the principal not to expel me like 3 days before graduation. It was crazy. It was really crazy. But I digress. I will not go into that story. And after I graduated, now I'm in the military. Now I'm walking this manhood thing out, making a lot of mistakes. But then somewhere along the journey, I decide to start a family. Now my purpose changed again. And this purpose is to be the best father that I can be. If I'm going to be a father, I'm going to be the best father that I know how to be. If I'm going to be a good father, I must also be a good husband, because I got to have a spouse to do this. At least that's the way I'm supposed to do it. So I need to be putting myself in position to be a good father. But before I can be a good father, also a good husband and a good father, I need to be a good man. So these are the steps that were in my head when I started out on my journey of family and fatherhood. I need to be a better, not so much version of myself, but I need to learn to become these things, because I didn't, in what I thought was, I didn't have a good example of what it looked like. So I knew I had some gaps and some flaws. So, and and now I've come through that journey. And it was the longest journey. It was also the most fulfilling journey, becoming. It wasn't an overnight process. It was a lot of things, because as I'm growing and changing, my spouse is growing and changing. My kids are growing and changing, and we keep missing each other, because I finally got this part figured out. Now you no longer need it. Now you no longer want it. Now I have to adapt to be this new thing that as soon as I get it, you may no longer need, may no longer want. So the relationship aspect, which is why I want to get into it in December, it is probably the toughest. Business is the toughest sport you're ever going to do. Business, because it's always changing. It's a game of inches. Business is that, but the hardest task you're ever going to do is the journey of life in family, life in self, because everything centers around you, and then your family, and then your work. So for a lot of people, business is a release from family. Business is a space where you get to go and exercise all those creative ideas and juices, and it gives you a sense of accomplishment. But what I've discovered through the years is that there's no greater sense of accomplishment than taking this infant, this baby, taking this new fledgling relationship with a partner, and growing that until success. That is the one that's the most challenging, because that's the one that never takes a break. You have to be intentional about it. Business has those cycles, and you can walk away from it sometimes. It can frustrate you, but you but you can walk away from it. You can hire somebody to do a thing, to do this, to do that. And you find ways to be successful in business, even when it hurts, even when the company is failing, even when the money isn't enough. You find a way to make the business stuff work. But yet we flake out on the family stuff. I was talking to my wife last night about my ex, and one thing she used to always say to me when we used to talk about, those hard times and getting past the hard times, and she would say, she would know when I heard it from a lot of different women, and maybe some of you guys have heard. Matter of fact, if you've heard this statement, put a 1 in the chat. Women love their children because their children will never leave them. Women will do more for their children than they will for their spouse because their children will never leave them, or their husband because their children will never leave them. Now, maybe it's a deep Southern thing. I don't know, but I've heard my ex say it quite a few times. I've heard some other people, growing up, would say the same thing. My children will never leave me. That's why I have this unconditional love for them. That's why I do these things for them, because I know they will never leave me. And so while you guys are debating if you heard it or not, if you haven't heard it, put a 2 in the chat. I remember one time my ex saying it to me. And I remember thinking, I didn't say it because I didn't want to inflame the situation anymore, because we were already kind of at odds with one another. And I remember thinking, well, if you loved me and you sacrificed for me the way you do them, maybe we would never end either. And so I started thinking, matter of fact, I'm gonna bomb on that one. And so I started really thinking about what does it take to make relationships successful. And I know I'm kind of digging into that right now, but we're not going there. I'm just digging into a little bit, digging around. I'm setting the stage for the next few weeks. And I think most people don't realize I got a couple twos that you said she's heard it. Okay, I got 2 twos, I got a 1. So yeah, it's a thing. And I think where we go wrong as people, we try to quantify one thing as being the primary thing, and everything else falls to the wayside. I think where we miss it at is we don't understand that there's a season for everything. If we are going into a purpose, and today, Mondays is the day we kind of just play with the concept a little bit, and then we dig deeper as the week go on. So I'm really just kind of playing with the concept right now of passions and seasons. And that's what we're talking about pretty much all week. Passions and seasons and timing. When you first get into a relationship, when you first start a company, when you first do a new thing, you tend to have success. You tend to be more excited about it. New things are invigorating you, new ideas. You're more hopeful of things. But somewhere along the journey, it flatlines. It gets comfortable. It's not super exciting. You know it like the back of your hand. You take it for granted. It's normal. It's common. It's common. And so that's what happened to me along my journey in a couple of different spaces in my life. Because now I'm in this space where my children are grown. My older children are grown, and the other 2 are just slowly heading out the door. And I've gotten to a space of complacency where I'm starting now to pat myself on the back and say, job well done. But there's an interesting thing that's starting to happen. The more that I think I'm done, the more they keep pulling me back in. The more that I think I've accomplished, the more I realize I still have so much work to do. There's only one problem. My attention has shifted now. My attention has shifted. Some people may think, okay, I got bored with a thing. I haven't got bored being a father. My attention has shifted. And so now what was urgent to me, what was critical to me, it still matters. It's still important. But a new season is dawning in my life. And I've fought this feeling for a few years now because I felt somehow less like I was abandoning my responsibilities as a father, as a husband. I was abandoning something. And it took me until maybe late last year before I was able to really put it in context what I was feeling. And that feeling is on my journey to self discovery, on my journey to finding purpose, I understood that we have multiple passions throughout our journey. And it's those passions that give our life that meaning. It's the feel good moments that do it. And once we get to a space where we feel good about it, now we on a new journey. Sometimes we stay stagnant for a while, but then something pops up. And now people start saying you're acting funny. You don't come around like you used to. Oh, that girl got your nose open, boy. Oh yeah, You hypnotized, girl. Yeah, because it's a new passion, a new thing is coming into your life. And so, thinking about it, I have. It made me think about a couple different things. Um, you know what? Before I get into that, because I'm about to get deep for a second. Let me yeah, let's do gratitudes first, and then we'll get into it. Let's do gratitudes first. I'm grateful. I'm grateful just to see another day. I'm grateful for health and strength, a renewed mind, a renewed purpose, a renewed spirit. I'm grateful for all the blessings that I take for granted. Having a roof over my head, heat in my home, gas in my car that gets me to work, to play. I'm grateful for so many things. I'm grateful for a sound mind. I'm grateful for my parents, my siblings, my spouse, my children. I'm grateful for the journey past, present, and future. I'm grateful for healthy relationships, for a mind that grows, that thinks. I'm grateful for love. I'm grateful for new business partnerships and experience. And I'm also excited and I'm grateful for the growth that that I have now. All the things that I had to go through to get here and all the lessons that I've learned. So I'm grateful. And I'm also grateful for you. All right, let's see. See, Monique said she definitely heard that one. Said nose is wide open. Yeah, yeah. I think we've all heard that had that happen once or twice in our lives. Let's see. We have to give ourselves permission to grow. Sometimes we forget that we outgrow our old selves for something new to begin. We only seem different to others because they're not growing. Sometimes that is true. Sometimes that is true. I remember a few years ago, I I've always fancied myself as a person that can cook. I enjoy cooking. And I decided that I'm going to grow my own stuff. So I set out and I got these plants, these planters, and I started growing these tomatoes. Has anybody ever tried to start a garden before? I know. Wait. I think Gary, maybe Donald. I think they were into the garden at one point in time. But anybody, has any of you guys started growing vegetables or any kind of thing that you can eat? You know, your own fruits, your own vegetables, or anything like that. So a few years ago, I decided I want to test out, can I grow my own stuff? And I grew these tomatoes in these pots that were on my back porch, and I put these little cages around them. And yep, got some yeses, Cool. So you guys know, you guys gonna understand what I'm saying right now. And let's see, I think they just get used to having you at their disposal. Sometimes that's true as well. Excuse me. Sometimes we all find comfort spaces in life. Gary says, I still have a garden. That's what I'm talking about. We all have these comfort spots in life. We all have these people that give us a certain feeling, a certain vibe or inspiration or a certain level of stability. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying that anything is wrong with that. It's a yes, have one now, grown, 4-year old and husband. All right. That's good stuff. Sounds like a community garden happening right there. And so my first experience was I had this idea. I went and I did a little research on, the type of soil I needed and what helps them grow the fastest or the best. And so I go out and I'm putting these tomatoes in these pots on my back porch. But then I take it a step further. I've always been a huge watermelon fan. So I said, I'm gonna grow my own watermelons. So I go and rent this tiller. I'm out in the backyard. I probably do maybe a 300 square foot little area in my backyard. I got the tiller and I'm just going out there just busting the ground up and creating those little beautiful lines that you see. I mean, I've spent way more time than I probably should have creating the aesthetic look of it. But I'm pulling the weeds out. I'm throwing them out into this little pile over here. And I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do to make this garden successful. Why? Because I want to try this new thing. I have this new desire to do it. So I'm out here doing it. And it's hard work. I didn't realize gardening was such hard work, especially initially once you start. The things you have to change in the atmosphere. I went and I even bought some extra potting soil to kind of just give it a little more help with fertilizer, making the ground more better. And I pulled all those weeds, added nutrition to the soil, and I did all those things, and I planted those watermelon seeds. I only have one. Well, I ain't wanting to say nothing, Monique, but I was thinking, okay, Monique got a couple of husbands out there. All right. I was trying to give you a little grace on that because I was going to circle back around to it at some probably when we got to a relationship. I said, Monique, don't you have more than one husband? But anyway, I digress. And so I'm planting this thing. The tomatoes are growing, but I'm noticing something. These bugs are eating up the tomatoes, or the freaking deer, rabbit, whatever it was coming on my back porch, they were eating the tomatoes. And so I finally got one good tomato out the whole group. One good tomato out the whole group. And so I was like, well, the watermelon, they got this protective shell on them, and they're in the dirt. Nothing is gonna dig these things up. Y'all know what happened? Can somebody tell me what happened? I didn't see a watermelon. Can anybody tell me why? No watermelons. I got one tomato and no watermelons. Can anybody tell me why? I know why you got one tomato. But I know now. I couldn't understand why no watermelons were growing. Why were no watermelons growing? Do anybody have an answer for me? Come on now, somebody. Hit the wrong button. I wanted to get the other button, but we're going to work with that one right now. Can anybody tell me why no watermelons grew? Moles. I wish that were the case. But now moles Moles were definitely not the culprit in this one. Nope, the deer wasn't the culprit. They did, for whatever reason, they just refused to grow. And I was so tempted to go out there to dig back in them little holes. Oh, Monique, Monique, Monique. Mm. Was it the season? No, definitely not the rabbits throughout the race. I was in the wrong season. You see, I did all this work trying to grow my garden. Oh man, no, but it wasn't the crackheads. I wish I could blame the crackheads too. Wasn't them. And so I thought something had ate my seeds. But I was tempted to go back and try to dig at least one up to see if the seeds had been eaten. But all I could think of is if I would dig the seeds up, I would stunt whatever growth was happening. So I didn't do it. So a month go by, 2 months go by, nothing still. By the third month, I was discouraged because I put so much energy, so much time into it. It was for nothing. I got one freaking tomato out of 50 hours of hard labor, and I got one tomato to show for it. So I scrapped the whole idea of gardening, and I went back to buying from the farmer's market and Walmart or wherever else I was getting my fruits and vegetables from. I gave up on it. Was it a worthy dream? Was it a passion? It was. Was it something? Because I still talk about it to this day. Still talk about having my own garden. Hey man, could you help me? I want to do some raised beds, but have I done it yet? No, because I'm still a little discouraged because of the last time I tried it. The memory of it still haunts me because I put a lot of work in there. I mean, I had blistered up hands with this tiller trying to get through this dirt. I had some hard ground to get through. Then mixing in other soils with it, watering. I mean, just everything that I did, all the time that I took, and I got no returns from it. So I scrapped the idea. But I sold that house some years ago. But before the last time I sold that, before I sold that house, I cut the grass for the last time. Now I don't know exactly how much time had passed. But I'm on this riding lawnmower and I'm just going through it. I'm just cutting this grass because I think I was getting ready to sell. And as I'm cutting, I drive over what used to be my little watermelon patch. And what do y'all think happened? All I felt was pressure release, pressure release. I felt like I was running over boulders in some kind of rock quarry or something. But I'm running over these humps and boom, boom, boom. And my mower is cutting. And so I stopped the mower and I get off and I just see a row of beautiful watermelons that I just ran over and just cut open. Baby tear started forming in the corner of my left eye. Because I did all that hard work, but it wasn't the right season for me to do the work. And they grew. Everything that I did mattered. Everything that I did mattered, but I did it at the wrong time. I did it at the wrong time. I didn't understand the season I was in, and I lost. And ironically, those were the only ones that actually grew. The 5, 6 that I ran over, I think I planted like 12 or 13, but those are the ones that actually grew. Now I was able to retrieve one. It was a real small one, but the rest of them were big. They were bigger. So I don't understand exactly what happened there. And I've been a little gun shy about it since because I know I didn't do all my research. I know I didn't have all the facts that I needed to have a successful garden. And I really wasn't super passionate about it. It was just a good idea, something that I wanted to try. Why am I saying all this? Why am I saying all this? It's possible to have a passion for something and do it at the wrong time and it not succeed. That doesn't mean that the purpose was flawed or that the plan was flawed per se. It most times only means that you were doing it out of season. You was doing it at the wrong time. You did it before it was needed, or you did it after the time when you should have done it. That's where we are most times in life, especially in this personal development journey. We have these ideas, we have these concepts, we have these business ideas and plans, and everybody's talking about it. So now it's the perfect time to release it. Now is the perfect time to do it. So I'm going to do it. But we didn't understand the growing season. We didn't understand the avenues which we were going to distribute. So many things we didn't understand before we did it. And had we known it, we would have known, you know what? Let's wait till after the Christmas season. Yeah, people are home more. Yep, people are spending money, but they're not buying this particular thing as much. If you have a product that you want to get onto the market and it deals with personal development or it deals with gardening, there's a season. You don't put out how to grow collard greens in July, in April. Why? Because it's not the season. So people are not as pressed. But come October, you're getting into that season. Those dark leafy greens are now ready. You're getting into the season, so that's the time to pull the trigger. But if you don't know that, then you're going to waste a bunch of energy doing stuff that's not going to amount you or net you the outcomes that you want. And when you find a passion for something, research it first before you start. Yeah, as we say in the construction space, measure. What is it? Health talk. Measure twice, cut once. Measure twice, cut once. Yep, I had that baby tear going because I put so much work in, and I just knew it was a good thing. But in life, we do good things. In life, we have these goals we want to accomplish. You know, that's exactly what your brother do with your nephew. They research it first. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So on this journey to self-discovery, we can have multiple purposes. We can have multiple things that we find passion for, multiple things that we do. But the overall purpose is self-discovery. So you have to have different experiences to fully become the best version of yourself. You have to have multiple experiences. You have to do multiple things. But to have success in those things, we have to understand the season that we're in. And we have to, one thing that I've learned is passion also attracts. When you see somebody who's passionate about something, you will soon notice that people will gravitate toward them. You soon notice that resources will come their way. You soon notice that good things are happening in their space because of the passion. They're on fire. It was a quote that says, if you ever want to, what is it? I forget how it goes, but it says something about set yourself on fire, not literally, and the world will come to watch you burn. It's talking about passion, talking about being on fire for something, a cause, a purpose. You know, you get excited about it. You ooze, you exude all of this energy, and people will line up to watch you do your thing. It's how it is with athletes and entertainers. You know, our favorite artists. You know, that person that just sing the roof off the building. That person that jump out the gym. You know, the person that can lift this or cook that, or the person that excites you the most. That person is truly inspiring, and they attract that. So, where am I now with my purpose? I feel like I've done a really good job of becoming a good man, becoming a good husband, becoming a good father. No longer thinking independence, I'm thinking self-sufficiency. I'm no longer thinking that I don't need anyone. Now I know I need people. I know I need people because no, we're not supposed to be here to do it on our own. We need community. We need family. We need structure. We need accountability. We need responsibility. All these things that we need, we don't need them if we're only by ourselves. If you truly by yourself, you don't even really need money for real. Not a lot of it. Not a lot of it. However, when there's a purpose, when there's a passion, when there's a mission and a vision, we require more resources. And when you are on fire for something, you attract more and more of that. So now where am I in my purpose? Now, all I'm doing is highlighting where I'm in my life, but I really want you to look at your life as well. I really want you to take a deeper look into your own story, where you are, what your next phase is, your next space is. And so as I'm giving you my trajectory of how I got to where I am now and also where I'm going, you have one as well. And I don't want you to get caught up in mine so much, but I want you to be as focused on yours. And so I told you, like I had a fishing tournament a few weeks ago. My company that I started was Father Figure Institute. And this company was designed solely to help men or give men the tools they needed to create or build, you know, more loving, more stable homes. Because I truly believe that if the father is in place, the wife has the stability, the security, the structure to do what she needs to do, the support to do what she needs to do, which is support him, and then together they support the children. And if the children are used to having that authority figure, the children are used to having that picture of what it looks like, they go out with that expectation into the world. And so if the family is together, then the community by default starts to look differently. And if the community looks differently, then that means the cities begin to change and so on and so forth. But it starts at the very base level with the family. And from where I come from, the man is supposed to be the leader or the head of his family. I know that's not the most popular concept today, but in nature, that's what it is. The man is supposed to be the protector. The man is supposed to be the when you protecting, you think about it's not always from an outside threat. You know, once upon a time, yes. Once upon a time, if there was a rumble in the woods outside the house, I not many wives got their guns and went outside to see what was going on. It was the man's job to go do that. It was the man's job to build the house. It was the man's job to do all of these things. And it was the woman's job was to whatever he provided, her take that and make it do what it do. Be the magician she need to be to, you know, turn this house into a home, turn this food into a loving meal, you know, turn this seed into some happy children. But the roles have gotten misconstrued or reshaped or whatever in this society that we live in. And men have been struggling for some time now with what do I do now? Because now, like for example, if somebody was trying to kick the front door in or sniffing around the house, my wife just has to dial 911. And within 5 minutes, somebody's here. She just got to hide out for a few minutes. If she's hungry, she just goes to the grocery store. She don't need me to go hunt the food anymore. If she's cold, she just contact the power company and get the heat cut on. Get the pilot light, get the gas back on if she's cold. She don't necessarily need me to do those things. And those were the things that historically made men valuable. Those were the things that historically made men valuable. And so now, if everybody's telling you your purpose is to be a man, what does that look like? I don't even know what that means anymore. No clue what that even means anymore. So I started this company, Father Figure Institute, to get guys in group, in space, to have those conversations, because there is no concrete one way, no one answer. It's going to take the community of men to get together. And especially in our community, we don't necessarily trust each other the way we once did or we once could. So we got to, repair some bridges, repair some gaps. And we got to get some new instructions, some new marching orders, some new order and overall. So that's why I started the company. And in my journey of starting this company, I've attracted resources. I've attracted people that was in with the same focus. And so now I'm in a space now where I'm about to go to that next level. And when I tell you that there's a bunch of butterflies happening, a bunch of nerves happening, because it's something new, it's something that I've never done before. And so now this new season that I'm entering in, I'm hearing from the old season saying, hey, you forgot about me. Hey, you're not as attentive to me as you used to be. And so that's what we're going to be talking about: multiple purposes, multiple passions this week. We're going to talk about missing a season. What happens when you actually miss a season? We're going to talk about that mindset that D-Rob talked about last week, changing that mindset from where you are to where you want to be. We're going to cover a lot of these things this week. We're going to talk about, for those of you who think that you may be a late bloomer, because we see our peers, we see people that we grew up with, went to high school with, were in college with. We see where they are in their lives. Our sisters, our brothers, our cousins, our exes. Somehow or another, they not with us no more. Now they done blew up. They done leveled up. Was it me? Was it me? I've heard people say that. Now they with this person, they with that person. Now they doing all this now. We're gonna really get into it this week. And I know, like I said, Monday's the day we just kind of talk about, we flesh it out, we kind of play with the concepts a little bit. So I think tomorrow, actually, we're going to talk about mindset tomorrow. We're going to do mindset tomorrow. Not finished quite yet today either, but Toronto Rican says, I thank God for my father for showing us as kids what a real man was and is, and being an example to my boys that are now young men. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that next level stuff, the next level stuff. And the thing is, it's not even really next level. It's just because of the culture that we're in, we've forgotten, or the concept has been devalued. You guys have to truly understand, we live in a capitalistic environment where currency is king. Once I'm old enough to where I grew up and I saw the transition between family society into a capitalistic, money hungry society. Me and my wife was talking about this on Saturday. What if in our community they were, let's just say 70% of the homes were family, nuclear families, mother, father, children? What if 70% of the homes were there? Do you know how bad that would mess with the economy? Do you have any idea how much money would not be made? But if I'm a single guy and my wife is a single girl and she has an apartment, have an apartment there, well, instead of one apartment, we have two. Somebody, instead of having to build a 2,500 unit building, they got to build a 5,000 unit building. They're doubling their money. So it's no profit in family. The profit is in singles. And because the profit is in singles, it's predatory. So now it keeps you just working, just paying bills. Keep working, just paying bills. Your kids are don't have the stability that they need. They don't have the role models that they need. So they're learning the same thing. And now they don't learn respect. They're not listening to people. You can't tell them anything. So now the neighbors that the village used to be, it no longer takes a village because the village stopped caring because the kids are disrespectful. They might have respect with mom or they might have respect with dad, but when they get out in these streets, Miss Jones better not say nothing to my baby. I remember I could go down the street and I get in trouble more. Alice and Charlotte could light my butt up. Miss Catherine could light my butt up. I knew not to act a fool because I had respect because of the community, because of the village. But that's not profitable anymore. It's not profitable. And so family has been devalued. Although people still tout it, businesses still tout it because it sounds good. But if families were together, profits would go down. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I can read, basic math. Let's see. Each generation is getting further and further away from traditional ways and values. Young men today don't have anyone teaching them how to be men. In a lot of cases, that is true. And the thing is, and this is something that I really talk to with guys about. Some things are taught and some things are caught. This is an old school saying. You can teach people a lot of things, but it's not until they're actually doing it that they catch it. That, so many reps, so many repetitions of a thing, and then it finally sinks in. I'm pretty sure D-Rob is out there training guys, and he's trying to get these drills down, trying to get their footwork right, trying to get them to think and move their feet at the same time, trying to get them to use their mind, their feet, and their hands at the same time. And there's a struggle. I've seen it. So I've done it. It's a struggle trying to get all those things together. But then after weeks of struggle, after months of struggle, then one day, the mind is working, the hands are catching, the feet are moving, and it's like a beautiful symphony coming together. The repetition of a thing allows you to catch it and to fully embrace it. And that's what being a father is. That's what being a man is. That's what being a mother and a woman is. I can teach my daughter everything I know about being a woman, which is not much. But I can never teach her how to be a woman. My wife can teach my son everything she knows about what it means to be a man, but she can't teach him how to be a man. Manhood is caught. Womanhood is caught. It's not taught as much. It's role modeled. It's having this boisterous voice that you respect and also somewhat kind of fear. There's this authority figure in the house known as dad. And when there's no authority figure that you have that respect for, when you go out into these streets, you don't have this, you don't. You don't. But anyway, that's what we're talking about this week. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it today. I just wanted to kind of crack the cap on this second part of this conversation, the purpose conversation. Now we're going to really deal with the passions and the seasons and timing, because sometimes you could do a thing and you can do it too long, and all the great work you did now kind of goes downhill. Sometimes you can be premature with it, and you got to keep waiting. You got to keep waiting for the right time. But the thing is, we have to be patient. We have to understand what it means to stay the course. All right, let's get into these affirmations. Did I miss anything? 100% progress gets every time. Yeah. Just when they finally catch it, when that light finally comes on, it's a beautiful thing to watch. And their confidence grows, and it's amazing to see it. Like when I watch my oldest son now, and I see him walking in his manhood, and I see him getting his first apartment. He was helping his girlfriend hang her TV the other day, and he called me. He was like, "Hey, Pop, I'm struggling with this. Why ain't this thing working like this? And so I'm giving him game, but he got me on FaceTime. I'm just sitting back, sipping my coffee, kind of walking through the process and just smiling. Just smiling because like, man, he getting it. He's understanding. He's getting it. He's getting it. But yeah, let's get into these affirmations so we can go ahead and get this Monday going. I am more than enough. I am above and not beneath. I am the first considered. I am highly favored. Because I am more than enough. I have the skills needed to be successful at every venture that I set upon. I have the ability, the willpower, the brain power to overcome every hurdle that's set before me. I am mentally and physically gifted and blessed. I take things that are hard and I make them look easy. I do things that are complicated and I'm able to teach it. I am more than enough. My gifts separate me from the crowd. My passion drives me to success. And my vision keeps me on course. Because I am more than enough. And I will take this day. I will claim the victory in it. And I will look for new opportunities to be more, to do more, to influence more. Because I am more than enough. I am. And I am because I say I am. I believe it. I receive it. Because I am more than enough. So the long and the short of it all, ladies and gentlemen, this week is going to be it's going to be a good week. I think we're going to have a lot of fun because we're talking about passions. You know, when I did that garden, I was excited. I was all the energy. I did half research. You know how we do sometimes. We half do stuff. I didn't understand all the pieces. And now that I know that there's a different season for everything, I'm more calculated. And because I'm more calculated, I have different outcomes. I have different successes. I don't take things as personal as I used to. I don't run from the accountability or the responsibility because I'm learning that people pay for solutions. When I go to these companies, I no longer go with my hand in my hat. I no longer go with my resume and, please look at my resume, and hoping they give me something. No, I go with value because people pay for problems to be solved. People pay for problem solvers. And I am a problem solver. I am a solutions-based person. We all are. That's why somebody always calling you for advice. Hey, man. Hey, sis, what do you think I should do about that? Because we're problem solvers. And the fact that they're coming means you're trusted. You're valued. And if one person will value you, I guarantee you, out of 7 billion people, you can find a strong 100 that'll value you. So whatever it is you're going for, whatever you're trying to do with your life, we're about to enter that season. You know, everybody's tuned up for that first of the year kind of stuff anyway, right? New year, new me. Yeah. And then March get here and they forgot all about them goals, right? But we're not doing that. We're not going to do that. This is the time that we put all the pieces together and we go higher and higher and higher. Are you with me? Put a one in the chat if you're with me. Put a one in the chat. It's time to stop playing games. It's time to go and become the things that we are supposed to become and do. Yes, 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 yes. For everybody who showed up this Monday, thank you. I appreciate you. Much love, much love. I got a bunch of ones coming through. Life is what we make it. And we truly have to make it. We truly have to make it. But to make it, we have to be intentional about what we're doing, who we're aligning with, and understanding the seasons that we're going into. Because sometimes you just there for a short time, not a long time, but a fun time, right? Sometimes you in and out, and sometimes you pack in for the long haul. And understanding those is critical to future success. Critical. So shout out to that chick, yo, who was first in the building today. Toronto Riggins, I know Craig G, you out there listening. Appreciate you, my guy. Health Talk, as always, brother, it's a pleasure. D-Rob Training, the young gun. I love it. I love it. Toronto Riggins, Monique, Bobby Yet, Boo, love you. K, shout out to you, K. I know this is past, oh no, the fallback time might have helped you out because I know you don't like get up in the morning. But if I'm appreciative that you're here with us this morning. So thank you for being here. Gary, I know you working hard, my brother. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And I hate to really miss anybody because anytime somebody values you, you make sure that they know you appreciate it. Because we take for granted sometimes, we think people are supposed to do a thing. We get so caught up in our own self-inflated ideals and thoughts that we think somebody owes us something. Nobody owes us nothing. We owe it to ourselves to go be the best version of who we are. And people see that. And then they come. Then they appreciate. Then they show respect and love. Positive self-talk. You know. We go back like fat crayons and car seats. I appreciate you. So have an amazing day, everybody. Go out there, make this day count. Tomorrow hasn't come yet. It never really comes. And yesterday is never coming back. All you have is today. Go out, make the best of it, maximize it, get all you can get out of it, because it's truly the only day we are promised. So, you guys, thank you. Got my email already, jamon.glover@gmail.com. If anything comes up, you got questions about anything, you want to talk about different topics, please don't hesitate to reach out. Let me know. Let's talk, because I'm here for you just as much as you are for me. So you guys be blessed. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow with how to change that mindset, getting into a better mental space. Y'all be blessed.